Okay, you will notice that my voice and my lips moving on the screen don't match up, and that is because, for whatever reason, OBS did not accept the input from my mic when I was recording this. So I posted it, and it was kind of weird. People could follow along, but for anybody new, it might be weird. So I figured I'd re-record a voiceover, and I'll try and talk about what I was doing. So I'm looking at, is it Talinn here? And we've surrounded it, but the entrenchment and the readiness and the supply of the enemy are still so good. Like, look at that, 200. What's the point, right? There's no real point in me attacking right now. 17th Army's readiness is very low. Look at that, 55, right? And so we're at about 55 seconds here right now. So I don't know about that. You know, the readiness level is not good, right? We're at like, 16% fatigue. It's just not 19 there. There's no point in me attacking right now. I'm going to get it. We can't rush over and take, is it Narva up in the corner there that PG4 is all interested in. So I think I'm going to put 18th Army on R&R. That's what I'm considering right now, is why not put them on R&R? I'm looking to see, can I pull 18th Army divisions out from surrounding that stack of units there? Okay. Now, at this point, I'm beginning to consider taking out the 38th Infantry there, south of Talinn. I want that hex, right? And I needed another infantry division to get them to outnumber it. We're doing the attack now. It was pretty straightforward. We pushed them out of there, and that's great. And so now I've surrounded, once I get my divisions in there, this stack of enemy troops there. Now comes the question, right? Should I let them stay? And also I've got that police division around there. I'm humming and hawing about 16th Army and their opponents across the river there in the Ostrov area. And like, we're going to attack that little tank division there, I think, in a sec. And I'm like, whoa, I don't need all those guys. I don't need 9th Army involved here. So I turned some of them off. But can I pull that police division out of that swamp area there? And I doubted that the enemy would cross the river and take that hex. I mean, what's the strategic value of a swamp hex across the river? So we pushed that little tank division out. We didn't destroy them. That was kind of annoying. I've got a tail of 9th Army divisions sticking out back there that are useless, right? I really need to get those up to the front line. And so what am I going to do, and how am I going to do it, right, is the question here. Now I've got 16th Army blocking off this area. We're able to attack that tank division again. Still can't destroy it. We're real close. You know, we're not taking any damage doing that. And so, like, I'll do that all day long. But, it's a real question now of, like, what are we going to do with that area? I wish I could get the Panzer divisions to come around behind them from 4th Panzer Group. But, we're back to this question of Talinn. It's got quite a few people in it. I'm wondering whether I should attack this stack now that we've surrounded, or let it wait a turn. And we're kind of weak around it. Like, we could pounce now, but our divisions are, a couple of them are going to be going on R&R when I put 18th Army on. And also we've got stacks with like just a couple of divisions in them, and they could try and break out. So I'm looking here for, that water hex cannot be entered by anybody. So where are they at? They're not terrible. They're ready. They know they're surrounded. They're ready for a fight. And so I'm looking at this thing and humming and hawing. Like, do I want to do this? I'm going to see what happens if I turn off everybody. No, I guess I'll leave all the divisions on. Can we get that guy to do anything? No, 58th Infantry could move. Okay, so I'm going to put them there, but they're not going to do anything. And let me get the headquarters closer, because they're not going to attack Talinn. So we're a little over the 300 max. I'm like, should I turn? I guess I need all these guys because they're fresh enemies that we're fighting. And look, it's working. We did take some damage, not a lot, you know, like 5% of the infantry. So it wasn't for nothing. But look at that, 37,000 and change enemy units just utterly destroyed. So I was very happy, gleeful, if you will, that I got away with it. So that's good. So now the problem is I've got those 2 vulnerable divisions in that swamp hex. I can't move anybody in to help them. 18th Army, you know, what are they going to do, right? Like, I'm putting them on R&R, so they're kind of spread out all over creation. And so what I'm doing is I'm moving 4th Panzer in as sort of blocker units to keep the cork in the bottle there at Narva and hope the enemy doesn't come out at us. I believe we've got them pushed in Talinn pretty good. They're not going to try and break out of there. So this is me deciding I'm going to put 18th Army on R&R. So what I'm doing here is I'm recording. I just let the video play, and I'm recording an audio with Audacity, and then I'll slap them together in a video rendering tool and combine them into one thing and then re-upload it. So that takes a little while to do the rendering, which is annoying, but we may lose some resolution. We'll see. That being said, I've got the old resolution to work with, so that's good. If you don't know, YouTube just like Facebook, downgrades everything. I first noticed this when I did a Skyrim walkthrough video years ago, and I'm like, wait a minute. You know, the picture was much better. Okay, so I'm looking at getting this police division of 4th Panzer Group, which is out of headquarters control, out of that swamp, and I've made the decision to do it. I don't think they're going to cross the river and try and take it back. So next question is, what am I going to do? I have decided to try and surround the 59th Infantry there and destroy that. It wasn't a good fight in a way, you know, we still lost some guys, but I'm really trying to get that 59th Division locked in there. And in order to do it, I need more units, right? I need one more division to continue the surrounding of them. Somebody's kind of hurt there, huh? So there it is. That one was a little bit better in terms of the fight. I need another division. And where am I going to get it from? They can move and fight. So I'm just going to decide to destroy right then and not try and give them the chance to break out. It worked. We killed 10,000 of them without doing anything bad to ourselves. So I have a bit of a problem. I would rather have put a unit into one of those swamp hexes, but it just won't go, right? There's not enough movement points left to be able to do that. So now what I want to do is get my guys in the 16th Army, those divisions positioned best to protect what we just accomplished. And I don't know. I don't think, again, those hexes are of value to the enemy, but we'll see. And even if they do, it doesn't really matter. I can bring down some panzer units and chase them off if I have to on the other side of the river there. But Pskov is a great base, right? Air and forward supply base to get. So now we're at 9th Army, and I want to get those. There's a lot of divisions there, right? Packed out in that corner that I want to bring up to the front. But then I notice, oh wait, I've got this city surrounded here at Vitebsk, and what am I going to do about it? I'm going to utterly smash and destroy. We did lose some guys, you know, it wasn't pain-free, but we got 30,000 of them for 2,400 and change of ours. So, you know, I'll make that sacrifice. So now, what are we going to do with 9th Army? We've got, you know, there's no point in moving that division. We've got a couple of other weaker units in front of us here that we could attack just to harass. That didn't do a whole lot, did it? No. I keep trying to move that 102nd Infantry Division forward, and it won't go. What can we do here? Yeah, we're attacking that weaker division and its friend. Yeah, ooh. So that hurt over 10%, and for once they took fewer casualties than we did. And what I'm trying to accomplish here again is to get these divisions out of that army zone corner. And yeah, you can move. You can move 256th Infantry, and they've got 87th way back there, but he's got good movement. So it's a start. It's a start. They could only go across the zone border there, and I don't want them moving from one army group to another. I want to see, you know, those guys, they've been harassed, pushed, but we have nothing left to attack them with, or I would hit them again. Like Hans Gruber and the armored personnel carrier. All right. So I'm checking to see what can we do with these guys. Can we hit them with something else? No, I think we're pretty much done with Ninth Army. Okay, now as to the Smolensk area. What am I going to do, right? And immediately my brain went, it's complicated. Like, no, you know, let's not do it now. I want to get to Kyiv, and in order to do that, I have to break through the line somehow. I want to get those guys in the swamp to pull back. But first, apparently, we're going to go down to the deep south, because Nikolayev is, you know, pretty well protected. It's got its garrison. It's got a block of units in front of us, and I'm deciding, like, what do I attack? Do I attack the town, or do I attack that big stack there next to it? And it looks like I'm trying to attack the town. I'm way overloaded, and I know it. We need those Romanians to attack to get the 20% concentric bonus. And I don't want to be too far over, but also if I go under 300, I know I don't have a chance. So I'm just attacking like crazy. I expect to get a few people killed here, but I want that city. And luckily for me, it works. And so for a relatively cheap price, we got Nikolayev, and we have that bridge to get across the river, which is really, really important. I can't stress how important that is. So now that we have the town, we need to keep it, because I think that's an important... Well, for now it's important. You know, the rail's going to come down through Kyiv, Cherkasky, Kirovograd, and then across the river. But we have to get this bridge fixed, you know, east of Proskuro there, to get the rail line going. We can't convert that line anymore. So now what I'm trying to do is move the 3rd Romanian Army to be just blocker units, and create a continuous line here, right, as I pointed out, of defense. All right. So it has occurred to me now that I could attack that 51st Infantry, and I'm wondering if I should. But, you know, am I tough enough to be able to protect what I've taken down there? And keep it. It's not as strong as I would like. We've got that 95th Infantry out there waving in the wind by itself. I don't know. I just took... okay. So, got the guards out there. Try and beef that up a little bit. Try to push the line out a little more. I think those 2 stacks down at Nikolayev are fine. I wonder if I should move the 11th Army headquarters across the river. Let's see what I do. No, I clean. Okay, so none of that. I figure I'm pretty good. I'm just looking at the levels. The readiness levels are not that good. So I've got a line there that I'm happy with. So now what? Now I want to kind of get around and behind these guys, or through up in the northern part of the screen here, and try and surround something. I need to surround and destroy something, you know. And one of the things that I found in the previous 2 games, which are on the my regular channel, the Jason Kanigan channel, and you can look for playlists there if you want, is that I would find I would be a bit timid. I would attack and I would get through, but I wouldn't go all out and try and finish the job, say in one turn or something, right? And the enemy could counterattack, and just like in real war, stop me from having that impetus. So what I'm thinking about here is, What can I do to break through, surround one of these stacks and annihilate it? And can I do it? And I'm learning here that if I hover over there with a question mark pops up and I press the right mouse button, the pop-up shows up. But if I just hover it, nothing happens. So there's a little bit of experimentation there, and then I figure out, oh, that's how it works. So we can see the stack, I believe, with the 74th Infantry is the one that's the weak point. And, but maybe I'm attacking something else. Let's see. Yeah, so if I put this 17th Army units in there, it causes a problem. So, okay, so I've attacked a weak stack. It was pretty good on the numbers for us. But all I've done, you see, is push them back, right? I have not... what have I accomplished, right? I haven't created a hole, really, unless I can exploit the one right to the northeast there and get around something. And so I realized I could destroy the stack maybe with the 29th Infantry on top there. I'm not sure, but I got to move something else, right? That's that you could see there. I'm beginning to think maybe we could do this, maybe. Like, and I feel so weak, right? Like, look at that 9th Panzer. It's so bad, right? And yeah, it was pointed out to me by a viewer, and I'm like, yeah, it's not good. So I'm looking to see which stack is the weakest. And I know I've got a lot of mobile units kind of in reserve there in the south. And I'm like, okay, can I get them there? What can I do? And then I need to have like 17th Army in reserve to plug those gaps that I leave, right? To keep the line open, because I'm going to be moving all these mobile divisions to the north. So this is me picking my spot where I'm going to do my breakthrough. And I want the headquarters to give the maximum benefit to those stacks. And I'm like, okay, what do I need here? Yeah, so again, taking out the infantry gives me a better concentric bonus. And I'm just, I have no idea whether this is going to work, but we got 18,000 right there, you know. 18,000. But again, like, it's like, okay, but what did I accomplish, right? I have not broken through anywhere. I just pushed a stack back. And I'm like, well, maybe I can do it again. I don't know. And it's genuinely scary, right? That and I'm like, well, I can't move 1st Panzer because I got 57th Division up there. And so I'm just going to try and punch this other unit. We knocked out another. That was very good for us. We knocked out a couple of divisions. We moved them on the cheap, basically. But now I have to see, can I get around behind the enemy here and create something that is strong enough to withstand an assault? Right? Maybe we'll get them this turn. Maybe we won't. But can we surround them and keep that encirclement? And so I need 2 units per hex at least to try and do this. And again, all I'm working with now is 1st Panzer to attack, 17th Army to defend, basically to block and fill the holes. And some of them need to move to the southeast there. All right, so I've succeeded in pushing through another hole. Good. Good results, but again, we're not, look at this, like, we have not completed the encirclement, right? I don't know about you, but my big worry is, like, can I keep it? And what am I trying to do here? Like, if I push them, where are they going to go? They're going to go to the north, probably, right? Into that empty forest hex. And what have I accomplished there? So now I'm looking for units to seal the gap and get into that forest hex. But of course, nobody's got any energy left to go anywhere. And so I'm like, well, wait a minute. I've got a couple mobile units at Zhitomer, and I've got quite a few infantry stacks here. Why don't I just split them up, plug the hole, get 17th Army divisions into Zhitomer to replace those guys. And then I've got a couple stacks in reserve here of lighter 17th Army units that I can use to plug the holes here. And I'm trying to split the weaker units up, maybe not. I don't see any point in going there into that empty hex under 32nd Infantry and 6th Air Division. Now I'm trying to compress. It almost worked, right? We lost quite a few guys there, over 10% of our infantry, so that was not a great attack. I probably should have waited on that one, just did the surrounding. But I'm nervous because those mobile units from PG1 on the northern side, oh, that was bad. Yeah. They're pretty weak, right? And there aren't many of them, and those stacks there look pretty big, even though they're made up of weaker units. So it's a start. What I'm happy with is that I surrounded the enemy. I did actually encircle those 2 stacks of divisions, and maybe we'll keep it. I don't know. We'll see. But I need to beef up this front line here. There's not a lot against us down here, but I'm like, okay, where can I put some guys? And they can't go very far is the problem. I'm trying to have somebody of those Slovenes over for like that area next turn. Alright, so now I'm just checking out the stacks on the other side, because what I want to do is look at the retreat percentage, because you can set that at like 100%, 75, 50, 25%, whatever level of damage your division gets to, they'll retreat. So if it's 100%, they'll fight to the last man. And if it's 25%, they'll get out of there if a quarter of them have been killed, which is not bad if you want survival. So there's my weak point, 57th. I'm a little worried about Zhitomer, but yeah, I'm very worried about that. So initially, I set them to 25% on the weaker divisions, thinking, well, I want the division to survive. But as I thought through it more, what I was like, well, then that would mean giving up what I've accomplished here. And so I actually want the maximum chance of keeping that encirclement going, right? So now I'm moving 2nd Army units into place to fully free up 4th Army to head up to the northeast. And we're just covering that trail to Gamel. Oh boy, I really want 4th Army divisions across the river, east of Mogilev there, so that we can move the 2nd Panzer Guderian's guys away from that area and up north to the south side of the river from Smolensk, and just cut that whole thing off where they can't get help and they can't get out. Yeah. So at this point, we're simply shuffling 4th Army units to the east as far as they will go. And we're kind of still stuck there on the southern side a little bit of the river there because there's just not enough people in place. I could pull the 167th along to the east, but then they'd sense weakness. They would find the hole and exploit it, and then I'd be rushing back there. I've done it enough times. So I want to figure out a way to isolate Smolensk, and that means erasing divisions on the south side of the river and occupying those hexes. And on the northern side, it means getting across the top and surrounding the city. But at first, I need to make a strategic decision about what I want to accomplish. So I'm not quite there yet. I've got a couple of mobile units from 2PG I want out of there. I do not want those units there. I think that's probably enough, although I'd like a strengthened pair of divisions in front of Mogilev there on the east side of the river. I'm not too concerned about the divisions to the south here in this area, but the ones south of Smolensk right there are a problem. And plus I have to keep people right in that area. But I'm going to start moving some units to the east and pushing. Yeah, so that cost us a few people. If I had it to do all over again, I'd attack with 2 divisions. But I want to smash 55th tank and everything else around there. Apparently I want to compress in this direction. It's okay, and the numbers still worked out for us. Like, what can I do here? Okay, we can get Das Reich out of there. I mean, I don't need that hex, right? That Das Reich and 10th Motorized were in. It doesn't matter. And so I've decided to clear these hexes out and surround the city on the southern side at least, so they can't hop across the river. Again, decent results. You know, we have a finite strength, right? So anything that hurts us, it will ultimately be a problem, right? It's depleting our strength. Okay, so now I'm looking at the northern side of the river, and I'm like, what do I want to accomplish? And I think what I want to do is isolate, rather than going around the back and really extending myself of Smolensk there. I think I want to bust my way in and isolate that stack that has the 3rd Motorized Division on the top. So the westernmost stack in front of Smolensk there, and destroy it. But in order to do that, I've got to go through the 21st and then that stack with 105th. But what that will do is then Smolensk will be, you know, we'll have access to it from the front on the western side, and we'll just be able to come over the top and surround it and come up from the bottom with 3rd Panzer, 2nd Panzer next turn. So that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go get that 3rd motorized stack. Okay, so having the other Panzer division mattered. Let's move in. So I'm not trying to get around Smolensk this time. I'm merely trying to utterly destroy this stack here that I have now surrounded. So let's see what it is. And we've got a lot of enemies around it. We're right at the top, 394 out of 400, right, with a great concentric bonus. It did hurt us a bit. We lost 1,000, but, you know, 1,300, but we destroyed 40,000 of them almost. So that worked out well for us. I was very glad about choosing to do that instead of trying to do the larger encirclement, going around behind Smolensk, spreading myself out pretty thin, and still having these big stacks of enemies right there. So I need to choose where my front line is, and that's okay. We've got a couple of divisions here, and I realized, oh, I could smash this tank division. They fought pretty well. They hurt me back, you know. I'm not going to say that was easy. I don't want them to go across the river into that hex that they could go into for free. It's not worth it. I do want the cavalry out. That's sort of interesting. What if they attacked 156? But I just decided, no, let's pull back and have a good front line. And we'll deal with it later. The tanks can't attack it, so we'll leave it. And I have to get the headquarters moved up, and that's fine. They're now near the front line. And we'll go after Smolensk next turn. I think we can do it. We just need to punch through where the 98th Infantry is. Destroy that 20th Cavalry. maybe push the 132nd Infantry out of the way, and then we'll be able to hook up in behind it on the eastern side there, on the northern shore of the river, and destroy. Surround and destroy Smolensk. So I think within 2 turns we'll have it. Alright, now I'm deciding, like, how am I going to patch up this southern side here, because we don't have enough. Right? You know, it's like, I can't actually close the gap. We could still hit this thing and destroy it, so I did that. That was good math. 3,200 for nothing. And we'll just keep those guys there and hope that 2 divisions is enough. And I'm decided, like, do I want to pull 1 division back towards Mogilev where the 34th Infantry is out of that other stack, but I'm going to leave it, I think. I think we're good. Yeah. I'm just deciding whether I want to move an infantry division or not. And like, what is the deal with that? We've got this stack in the swamp. Why? Why is it there? It is tying up quite a few of my guys. Triple check those 2 stacks. I'm like, yeah, there is an opening here, and you could get at my headquarters. Maybe I'll move them, but yeah, I think we're fine. And that'll, where I moved it to, will help me with the blocking in case they try and counterattack out of Smolensk. So now I'm going through, I think, 3rd Panzer looking for fatigue. And I'm not seeing a lot. You know, I mean, there's some here that are like, yeah, okay, we need. After we take Smolensk, we'll probably rest PG2 because we already rested the 3rd Panzer Group. And I want to get, yeah, 4th Army across the river. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, this is going to be tight. I've got 18 minutes left in the video, and I've got 18 minutes left before I record with a doctor at Michigan University who's been on my show before. Paul Van Suzante. And good guy. He has a lab that is a simulation of what it's like to be on the moon there, which is really cool because nothing works on the moon like it does here. Like if you're a kid and you want to dig a hole in your backyard, it's like, think of the opposite of whatever would happen with that kid trying to dig a hole in the backyard on Earth. Think of the opposite. There is no dirt on the moon. The regolith is like sharp glass, basically. The astronauts could only go out for like 3 or 4 walks with their spacesuits because the regolith would cut through the gaskets. That's a problem. So it doesn't sit right, and gravity's weird, and everything's like almost upside down. So it's been about, I don't know, a year and a half since I last had him on, and he's won a few contests, some NASA contests and things like that in the meantime. So I wanted to catch up with him. This is not easy. Even landing on the moon, it throws up so much regolith dust that's a real problem, and so they've got intermediate technologies. Looks like I'm just trying to figure out if I can attack that hex. Yep. And surprising to me, again, I guess I was emboldened. I really want that bridge across the river there towards Perekop, because so I'll attack next turn. I want to keep that city, of course, Nikolayev. I'm like, can I destroy this? No. But if I can get any supply, I mean, it's not a rail line, and I still have to go up north through the other cities, but it's something, It's something for a supply line. I think we can still run trucks. And if I keep that bridge, it'll help me invade that area much faster. Usually I get caught up in that. For the interview in the description this time, actually, I posted about the Stratemeyer Syndicate, which is a fascinating thing starting like 100 years ago. If you've ever heard of Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys, those kinds of series of books, there was actually a process for making those. And so writers could die because there was one name on it, as if this person actually wrote all of them, but it was actually many different writers contributing to it. But they had, I need that bridge fixed. That is stopping my rail line. And so they created a process which has been termed extruded book product, which you could think of as like making your gutter as long as you need it and then cutting it off. And it's fascinating, and it's a model for success that's been used for a long time. So now I'm just hitting units in the swamp that I feel I can get away with hitting. And that was 2,400 for nothing. I don't think this one works out as well. Yeah, not quite. Not terrible, but just want to let them know we're there. They look like targets of opportunity, right? So anyway, if you're interested in how they did those books and what the pluses and minuses of doing it that way were, that's what that episode is about. The Stratemeyer Syndicate. Okay, so I'm just checking through everything. We got Talinn surrounded. I've rested 18th Army. This is the weak point, right? I need to keep that hex. There are a lot of enemies around it. They can attack it from multiple sides. I'd love to get more infantry in there. Concerned about those 2 swamp hexes there, north of Ostrov. I want to get those panzer units back around and away, like on the Ostrov side. That will happen after 18th Army takes Talinn, has a chance to rest, and gets over to Narva and surrounds it from the western side. Again, concerned about those 2 hexes, but I don't see why the enemy would want them, other than to run amok and cause a little mayhem. Yeah, 16th Army is a little tired. I need to rest them if I can, when I can. Maybe now's a good time. I don't know. We'll check that out next turn. We're on the road to Smolensk. Looking at the middle. Can we hold that encirclement of those 2 stacks of divisions? Oh yeah, gotta make some decisions. So, 1/5 chance of rain, basically. Truck refit, of course I'm gonna do that. We badly need it in Army Group North. We've seen it in the charts. Brokich, come and see me. I'm pissed off at you. What should we do? I'm gonna do all all the points, and it fixes things. We're at, I think, -5 or something now, and that's way better than -25. So I'm just gonna check, and it's not hovering, so I'll right click it. That worked. Air doctrine. Hermann Goering's like, hey dude, how should we do our flights? We don't mean that the Luftwaffe only flies when the sun shines and the tulips are in full bloom, but we'd like some guidance. So I did the safety as an elastic concept. Hopefully it'll make him happy. I don't want him to destroy his planes for no reason. Should we move the airfield? We just moved it, and this would be moving it backwards, so no. it's at Orsha. Why would I move it back to Minsk? That would be crazy. So no, we're not going to touch it. Stay put. And yeah, same thing with the supply plates. No, why would I move it? I just moved it. It's forward from where it is, and those are our decisions. So are we ready? Let's click. Click it. Click it good. Cats are waking up. Yeah, I might have to pause this and come back to it. We'll see in about 5 minutes, because I've actually got eight minutes left. Oh, yeah, and I've got 9 minutes left before doing my recording. I like a little more prep time. So apparently I turned the NATO counters off and didn't turn any counters back on. And so I put these wargaming counters on, which I hate. And they hide the stack, and Thief Baggins, we hates it forever. So we just have to put up with it for a few seconds. All right. They came back to us in the swamp there. The Soviets reoccupied those hexes we shoved them out of in the Pripyat. They are shuffling like crazy, and they have attacked at Ostrov, and I don't know what they accomplished, but they pushed it. They pushed the division back. And there is mighty shuffling going on around Smolensk. And they have figured out, as I have, that that bridge is important, and maybe they should do something. Whew. I don't like that cavalry unit there. Okay. Okay, 11 divisions failed to deploy. It's like, geez, what happened? Better save my game. Try and get turn 14 out in the next day or two. Came back to my house this morning and should have a few days here by myself. A weird turn of events. I don't think I've had a weekend on my own in a very long time. Maybe 6 or 8 months, something like that. Okay, so I'm yapping about the rail line here, right? we gotta get it across to Kyiv, and then down there and up and over, and then once we get the rail line over to Pavlograd, we're good. You know, we're on the way to Rostov. I don't like that unit. It scares me. Maybe I'll try and surround it and destroy it. There's some weaker units up there, but I'm pretty weak too. Yeah, I don't want that rail line. 17th Army needs to sweep down there in between those two rivers once we have destroyed. So we kept our encirclement here. That's the important thing. Right, that's key. We'll be able to destroy those divisions, but they are back in the Pripyat. Now, once I cut them off on the eastern side of the swamp, they'll retreat, and I'll be able to move in and destroy them. I wish this was more like real life, and I could just get the Luftwaffe to go in and bomb and bomb and bomb in the swamp. So we want to get 4th Army over there doing those things. They pulled out a couple of units from that swamp hex that I was concerned about. I don't like that cavalry unit there, like I said. They made it weak there. That was foolish. I will attack and surround. That Smolensk is mine. I mean, look at that. There's very weak resistance in front of me there, but this is a problem. They beefed up the one hex and they came across the river and occupied the other, and that's annoying. I think the police division could come back and chase them off. It is a small division, but that is annoying, and we can go there and attack, and maybe this guy can help out. In between the two of them, they'll be all right, but we'll see. I'd like more rail line. Oh, I can't do any more though. I can't improve my rail line because Ostrov is blocked off. So we see some entrenchment of 180. They're still doing good, but that's fine. I mean, my guys are on rest and relaxation for this turn and the next turn. So entrenchment 200. There's just there would be no point in attacking Talinn right now. Of course, people are starting to message me now. No, you don't get the Jason. No, Jason busy. So, just doing my sweeping satellite view. How many decisions? We've got a Goering lobbies Hitler for more fuel, some captured trucks. Truck refit in Army Group North. We know that's a problem by looking at the charts. And we'll get it fixed. So my performance is fine. Happy with that. I don't see any more bridges in Army Group North to be fixed right now. It'll say one line division has high level of fatigue. Well, guess who it is? It's in the 18th Army, so we're resting them. I already took care of the problem. All right. Yeah, I know I'm recording a podcast in 5 minutes. How many minutes we got left on this thing? 3.5. Yeah, I don't know about those truck columns and their excessive distances. That bothers me a bit. I think it's because they're going north to Talinn. I'm not sure in that area. Army Group Center, one bridge. Still waiting for it to be fixed. And seems to be okay. Army Group South, we've got that bridge again that needs to be fixed. 35% next turn. We've got a decent chance of getting it. And our stockpile is good. A lot of divisions fail to deploy there. Those are new replacement ones, and they start out with very low chances, right? 10%, 15% and that. So I'll get them in the next 5 turns or something like that maybe. But loss assessment, we had a couple of bad choices, right, that led to, I'd say, 8,000 people getting killed that didn't have to be. That being said, we really cleaned their clock this turn, right? You know, like we got 70,000, I think, at least, maybe more, maybe 80,000. I remember there was a 16,000 and almost 40,000 and a 30,000. So it's gonna add up. There was a Soviet counterattack. They pushed us back in that middle area there in Army Group North. Nothing in the center and nothing in the south. They did not attack. When Soviets attack. So, trains running. It's not a lot. We have inventory though, so that's good. Same thing here. Trains are delivering lots of fuel in Army Group Center, and that's great. And we have a huge supply, so I'm very happy with that. And in the south, it's okay. Same as the north. We're well above what we need for supply, so that's good. And in the truck columns, you can see Army Group North is lower than the others, and that's why we have decisions about refit. Sure. What have we got left here? We've got 1 minute of recording left. I'm just looking. Yeah, there's the refit. Let's whip through the stats. The Soviets actually have more people, despite our destruction of them, showing up, and we're pretty stable. Our fuel is quite good. They've really bounced back since getting those supply bases back. The squid tail's coming up because of Braukic. The trains are fine. Truck columns, you know, we see the droop in Army Group North. We know we're going to deal with that next turn. Luftwaffe is fine. Partisans are the same. So it's not bad. I think it was a good turn. Hope you enjoyed it. And likes, comments, shares, all appreciated. Tell other people if you enjoy it and you think they would too. And I'll catch up with you guys next time. Bye.